So we all have those moments where there's too much to do and not enough time. Today, we're going to talk about exactly what to do when that happens and why it took us 10 years of pain before we finally learned this the hard way.
Life is beautiful.
What's the first thing that you think of when I say the word hay?
Misery.
Okay, explain.
It reminds me of being in a hayfield for 7 hours in the blazing sun of Bulgaria on the
Explain
Amazing
further.
Race. Mike and
Set the
I.
scene. Set the scene for people who don't know.
Mike and I were on the show, The Amazing Race. Obviously, I think if you listen to this podcast, you know that. And we were at a challenge where it was a needle in a haystack. And it was literally a very small bracelet in a haystack, 3 huge haystacks. And Mike and I were on the verge of being eliminated. And we took that. I will take responsibility. I took that pressure very, very
I'm
serious.
screaming at this fucking kid. Bro, you're going to miss it. You're going way too fast. These bales of hay you're grabbing are way too large. You have me like sprinkling the hay nice and easy. Nick's just, just throwing them to the side. And he's not listening to me. That's
Yeah.
what you call race brain.
That is race brain. So tell people what race brain
Race
is.
brain cost us the Amazing Race because that is where we got eliminated. But there was a time where we succeeded in overcoming race brain. Real quick, race brain, what that means is it's that feeling when there's so much pressure on you where you're just not even thinking clearly anymore. That's the simplest way to put race brain.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes people call it mom brain.
Mom brain?
Yeah,
I've
that.
never heard of that one.
Well, Amanda's in the mom world now, and that's like a thing that goes around.
I guess it's similar. You have very little sleep.
Yeah,
Kinda,
exactly.
Yeah.
Your brain isn't functioning at the highest ability.
Yeah. Flooded with cortisol.
Exactly.
So there was a time where we succeeded in overcoming race brain on the race, where we were in the dojo. We had to fold these huge, massive origami cranes.
Yeah.
And we were once again on the verge of elimination, like we were pretty much every episode. And there was a point, this is like my most embarrassing point in the race, and there's footage of it that pops up every now and then. It's so embarrassing of
I
me
love
jumping
it.
up and
I
down,
love
throwing a temper tantrum like a 4-year-old child, yelling at Nick. And we both stopped and we're like, all right, we're clearly not thinking clearly. Let's go outside and let's actually do what no one has ever done in the Amazing Race, which is stop to meditate in the middle of a challenge. And so that's what we did. And then we came back in, and then Han and Holden, another team on the race who were also in that dojo, later told us, you guys walked back into that dojo like it was a movie scene and you were 2 Terminators who were ready to just fuck shit up. We got back and we were calm, cool, and collected and just banged this thing out so quickly, so much so that we were able to help other teams because that's how far ahead we got. That is the power of the pause. I think there's this misconception around pressure. Like, I'm not saying pressure is bad, but there is a Goldilocks zone of pressure, and science proves this, where too much pressure floods your body with cortisol and makes you stop thinking clearly. So you want to get into that Goldilocks pressure where it's just enough, because too little pressure makes you this lazy bum that does nothing and it has a meaningless life, right? So you want a little bit of pressure, but not so much that it's debilitating.
Why is it so hard for us to stop when we feel like we need to go faster?
Because it feels like in that moment, pausing is literally the worst thing that you could possibly do.
Yeah.
That's why. It feels like you're already so behind. Why would you stop now when there's still so much to do and not enough time? Like, hurry up, let's go, keep going, keep going.
Yeah.
Our brain is like convincing us that the key to fixing this problem that we feel is to keep moving as fast as possible. That was you in the haystack.
Yeah.
And it's so paradoxical. But the only way to get back to that Goldilocks zone of moving forward is to take that step back.
Yeah. Do you ever watch F1?
Yep.
So you ever see how this guy who could be in first place, right? They take time to go off the course and do a pit stop.
That's true. Yeah.
Right? So the pit stop is a pause. It takes 2.5 seconds. And from an outsider looking in, you might be like, why the hell would they get off the course and stop when they're in first place.
Yep.
Because they have considered that taking this 2.5-second stop to get 4 new tires is going to help them go so much faster than those 2.5
Yeah.
seconds that they took to stop.
No, that's an amazing analogy. And I think it's so often forgotten in our day-to-day lives when we have the race brain or the mom brain, whatever you want to call it, and the pressure is on and we feel like we just need to keep pushing through, keep pushing through. The one thing I will say to make this super practical and helpful is since the Amazing Race. So when we were on the Amazing Race, we stopped and we meditated for like a good few minutes. Since then, we've talked about this other thing called breath work, which happens a lot faster. So you can think of meditation as like preventative medicine. It's something you do to avoid that feeling. But when you're in that heat of the moment, you need something that is reactive medicine, like a pill that you can take that it works immediately to calm you back
Like,
down.
what's like when someone has an allergy reaction?
The
That one.
EpiPen.
The EpiPen, yeah.
Exactly. And so our friend Ian, who listens to the show every day, said he loves this episode we made about breath work and the double inhale exhale, the physiological sigh. So
Yep.
Stanford research has found basically the most effective way to reduce this feeling of anxiety that we feel is through this very simple and fast breathing technique. And we're going to do it right now together so everyone can feel it and try it again. And if you've already done it, do it again because it feels amazing. So basically what you do is you take one deep, sharp inhale through your nose all the way in, and then an extra one, even though you've already gone all the way in. An extra inhale through the nose. So 2 inhales through the nose, and then a long exhale through the mouth. So we'll do 3 together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. So the reason this works is because when you're stressed, your alveoli, which are the tiny air sacs in your lungs, fill up with carbon dioxide.
Mm.
And so the only way to pop them open and to get more oxygen back is by doing that sharp breath. That sharp breath pops open the carbon
Really?
dioxide.
I didn't know that.
Yes, that's what's
Wow.
actually happening because I was so curious, how did people even discover this shit?
Wow.
And this is why they do it.
That's
And so then
fascinating.
the long exhale is driving the CO2 back out of your lungs, which is telling your nervous system, okay, we can relax now. So that's why it's so effective so quickly.
Interesting.
So the call to action for today is next time you feel that overwhelm, that sense of pressure, the mom brain, race brain, whatever the hell you want to call it, that feeling of too much to do and not enough time, stop and do the physiological sigh, the double inhale, exhale. You will feel a lot better instantaneously. It only takes a few seconds. And if you take that step back, you will move 10 steps forward.
Yeah. The power of the pause. Thanks for hanging out with us. Love you.
Peace.